The middle and lower reaches of the Yellow River in central China are among the places where population aging is getting increasingly challenging.
All the actors and actresses are villagers aged from 50 to 90. They just play their younger selves. Taking part in the performance has brought sparks back to their lives.
Hear the story of the empty nesters living in a secluded mountain village in the middle reach of the river. In episode 6 of our 12-part series, The Yellow River Mosaic, When the Kids Are Gone.
September the 27th, 2021, at Chiniuwa, a mountain village along the middle reach of the Yellow River. Carrying sediment from the lowest plateau, the Yellow River gets muddier near Chiniuwa village. From this point, it runs all the way down calmly to the south of Jin-Shaan Grand Canyon. I felt a bit uneasy when we arrived because the village is surrounded by mountains, as if it's cut off from the outside world. But my attention was soon drawn to a gathering crowd of people dressed like the local farmers from the mid-1900s. They were there to give a performance.
All the villagers have their roles to play. We're very happy to act on the stage.
55-year-old Xiao Lian runs a small restaurant. After cleaning up the table after we finished breakfast in her restaurant, she changed into her lowest plateau farmer's costume of the 1950s. The performance features the traditional lifestyle and culture typical of the middle reaches of the Yellow River. Acting in open air at the foot of the mountain, the actors and actresses were mostly middle-aged and elderly villagers. They wore no makeup. Their weathered, rough faces were the center of attention. Carrying hoes, plows and carrying poles, they walked across the stage along with their livestock and headed for the terraced fields on the mountain slope.
All the actors and actresses are villagers aged from 50 to 90. They just play their younger selves. It's a show of their real lives. For most of them, as their kids have left to work in the city, taking part in the performance has brought sparks back to their lives.
58-year-old Gao Zhenfeng is the organizer of the show. He said the performance is normally put on the weekend, but up to 4 or 5 shows are given every day during peak seasons. Each actor or actress makes 20 yuan, or roughly $3 for the 70-minute performance. They also perform upon request. A tourist told us that together with some 50 co-workers, she booked the show before they arrived in the village on their team-building trip. On the hillside and to the rhythm of their working shanty, a group of younger farmers were carving out terrace fields for farming. They pound the ground with a piece of round, flat stone. A few others passed by pushing a handcart. Down the stage, several older villagers were grinding grains on 2 millstones. When the performance was over, everybody went back to their normal farm work.
I took part in each of the performances.
With a broad smile, 72-year-old Gao Nongfeng had a chat with us after he had changed into his work uniform as a cleaner. I couldn't quite understand his dialect, so the villagers around us all joined our conversation and explained that both he and his wife acted in the show. He danced the yanga, the well-known traditional folk dance. Of the 130 performers, 80 of them are 70 years old or even older. Most are empty nesters, as their children have moved out to work in cities. Chiniuwa has a registered population of 1,000. Only half of them live there, while most young people have left the village. Those aged 65 and above now make up more than 30% of its remaining population. In fact, the middle and lower reaches of the Yellow River in central China are among the places where population aging is getting increasingly challenging.
You cannot say that the senior villagers are too old to do anything. Don't underestimate them. Nobody knows their land better than they do. They are very honest, down to earth, and they understand how to make full use of the resources available.
Pensioner Gao Yongdong is a key figure in the transformation of Chiniuwa. He led the empty nesters out of loneliness and distress and turned the village into a tourist destination.
Old items, ancient village, and veteran farmers are all precious resources.
They first set up a folklore museum in 2009, exhibiting 50,000 old objects that generations of villagers had used in their daily lives. A tour of the museum became the best way to get a sense of the lives of the Lowest Plateau farmers in the mid-1900s and earlier. With an ever-increasing number of visitors coming to the museum, Gao Yongdong and his fellow villagers like Gao Zhenfeng created the show featuring their old country life and put it on stage in 2015.
We did that to create jobs and help the villagers earn some money.
Gao Zhenfeng said the village mainly relies on tourism-related businesses for revenue. He added that each of those aged 70 and above who regularly participate in the performance makes at least 10,000 yuan through performing and selling their farm produce every year. In addition, they each get an annual pension of 2,000 yuan from the government. The development of the tourism industry also brought extra income to younger people like Chia Lian, who chose to stay in the village and run small businesses.
I can make a profit of at least 200 yuan on a normal day. During holidays, when more tourists come to visit, I can make 10 times as much or even higher.
But this is not good enough for Gao Yongdong, who initiated the tourism program. His goal is to attract more younger people to come back to the village.
Industries are essential to vitalizing the countryside. We are trying to develop tourism to boost agriculture and manufacturing. But any village would need its people to stay before it can push for development.
Most people aged between 50 and 60 have already come back. Each of them can earn 20,000 to 30,000 yuan every year. When yearly income doubles or becomes even higher, more people will return.
However, some villagers still choose to leave, simply for one reason.
10 families have moved out this year in search of a better education environment for their kids. We have a kindergarten here, but the education quality is not as good as that in the urban area.
Gao Yongdong expects the government to provide more help in regards to rural education and healthcare.
I hope the government will give more importance to improving education and medical services. On one hand, not every family can afford to send their kids to study in the city. On the other, some villagers may live a better life at home, but they still choose to leave for the sake of their kids' education.
Among the 6 villages we visited along the middle reaches of the Yellow River, almost all of the families chose to send their kids to study in the city. 46-year-old Li Li hopes her children will settle down there in the future.
We'd like them to develop their careers where more opportunities are available. Though rural tourism is booming here, it's still a village after all.
Since those leaving the village still outnumber those who have come back, Gao Zhenfeng said they have to search for ways to keep their well-received country life performance rolling.
We're upgrading the infrastructure in the village to attract back those doing odd jobs away from the village. We also plan to recruit people from neighboring villages. Please come again in 3 years. I'm sure you'll find a different Chiniuwa.